It's funny because I see your name on it from the other login. Okay, we're trying Chrome.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, Jen, I'm going to go ahead and get just kind of started with some introductory stuff so we can value everybody's time. Thank you for joining us. I see people rolling in more and more. I think we ended up with well over 100 people registered. So I know your time is super valuable, all of you. And so we want to make this as efficient, but also as effective as possible. So thanks for joining us. My name is Troy Peterson. I'm with Fidelity National Title, as is my partner here, Jen, who is on the phone with Mike, trying to get us logged in. And but we're doing this as an extension of the luxury agents of Scottsdale and TV. Many of you follow the Instagram page or the Facebook group, and if you don't, just you can do a quick search on either of those platforms, luxury agents of Scottsdale and TV. And really, the intent of that was to create a community where there's some sharing happening, some featured properties. Obviously, on the Instagram platform, it's less. There's less ability to interact in terms of sharing. So on the private Facebook group, you're welcome to post listings, coming soon properties, buyer needs, so forth, so on. So if you're not following those pages or profile, check that out. And feel free to leverage it.
Troy, are you going to post those on the chat?
Yes, I'll try to do that while one of you is answering the question. Put that link in there. If you want to ask questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. We have way more questions than we'll get through this morning in hopefully the next 45 minutes. But if you have some, we want to make sure that we are hitting the needs and the questions and the things that you want to capture from our time together. So put those in the chat, and we'll try to squeeze those in as we get into it. So getting into this real quick.
Mike is on too.
What's that?
Mike is on.
Okay. Let me. Is he on video? I don't see him. Okay, I got to go find him so I can pin him. There he is. Okay, let me pin him now to. Okay, so we should have Mike there. Mike, can you hear us, and can we hear you? We got you muted, so.
My mic's muted. Let's see.
There we go. We got you. We got you now, Mike. We're good. So picking up no long bios, but these three panelists are obviously the best of the best, the rock stars, tip of the spear when it comes to our luxury market. Most of you know them. If you don't, you'll understand why they're on the panel here in the next few minutes. So first, ladies first, Lisa Westcott with Silverleaf Realty. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Chris Karras with Launch Real Estate. And Mike Domer with Walt Danley Christie's International. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Good morning, everyone.
So congratulations on an enormous year to each of you and your teams. Congratulations specifically to you, Lisa, on all-time record there, Arizona residential property in this past 6 months. Real quick, where are you and where's your Zoom room?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Where are you right now? You home? You in an office? And what has become your Zoom room in the Zoom world? Kind of, where's your Zoom room?
So this is home office, and yeah, this is my Zoom room.
Perfect, Chris.
Hey there. I'm at our Scottsdale office right now. So I start here, then I head over to our Paradise Valley one next. So we're just kind of making this home away from home.
Cool. And Mike, where are you?
I'm right here at my home office.
Perfect. One word to answer this question real quick. I'll start with you, Chris. How would you define this market right now in one word?
One word. It is first time hyphen experience.
Good. Lisa, one word.
Wild.
Mike,
Explosive.
yeah. Crazy times, unprecedented. Jen, why don't you hit it? First question there.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. So first, I just want to reiterate for everybody watching, the top right corner, you can change back and forth to the spotlight view or the gallery. It'd be easier to see everybody in the speaker view. So let's start with you, Chris. For just a little bit of background, when did you start in real estate, and briefly describe your team structure?
Thank you, Jen. So I got my license November of 2004 and started real estate December 2004. And I've been able to see up and down cycles, which has been fun and interesting, including this new pandemic cycle that we're calling it. Team structure is great. We have 11 team members on the Caris group. So the great part about the Caris group is everyone comes with their own book of business. So they're all full-time agents, have great relationships and clients, and we kind of brand the Caris group throughout Paradise Valley, Arcadia, Biltmore, and Scottsdale. And then we also have Launch Real Estate, which we're about 230 agents, which I'm also one of the co-owners and co-founders of, and love be able to figure out the new directions we're going in and always trying to redefine our market.
Very good. Thanks, Chris. Lisa, what about you? When did you get into real estate, and do you have a team? What's your structure?
So and thank you again. I started realistically started in 96. I worked for the original developer of the Four Seasons and got my feet wet and got out of the business. And then in 2002, got my license and went to work for a luxury home builder. And in 2008, got the bright idea when the market was crashing that I should go on my own. And I did. And here we are. And we have a small team within the W group at Silverleaf Realty, and then we have a big group with Silverleaf Realty. And our small group within the group consists of 3 agents and an assistant, and then it just builds from there. You know, I think that teams and groups and the larger, great if that works for you. I tried it and it didn't work for me. I'm too much of a control freak.
Well, in 2008 was a challenging time to break into luxury, so kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Mike, last but not least, when did you start in real estate, and describe your team structure? I know you've grown quite a bit.
I don't really want to give the time when I started to give away my age, but I'll go ahead and do it. But I was nine years old when I started in 1974. So I've been in real estate since then. I had a speaking career for almost, 20 years. I really got back into full swing probably in 2007 or 8 when I joined Remax and did real well there. And in 2018, in October, I joined Walt Danley Christie's. And I have a great group of team members. I have 17 members. They're all fabulous. They're all full-time agents. They do real well, and love the real estate business.
Awesome. Chris, I'm gonna go to you with this question. So 2020 was a tough year, very unique year, in some ways a great year, but it was hard. What is one thing that you learned or are thankful for that came from that experience in that year?
Thanks, Troy. Yeah, no, it definitely was a hard year. And, I think the one thing that I took from it was it's okay to slow down. It got me grounded again. It made us all think about where we are and what we came from and how much have we accomplished, not only business, but family, more importantly. And I have these 2 crazy munchkins in my life that are now 6 and 9, and that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why we wake up every day, is because of them, my family, and my beautiful wife, and it's all about the family. So having that gap where we were on curfew and grounded and at home and trying to scratch our head, trying to figure out what to do. We had our family. And that was the best part. And it kind of allowed me just to kind of compress down and just realize, hey, we're building this for them. And that's why I wake up every morning.
Awesome. Fantastic. Lisa, 2020, what did you take away from it?
2020, whew, anything can happen. I remember sitting, I played in a fun little golf tournament the first week of March, and then sat down the day afterward, and that's when they decided to close things down. And I remember looking at Garrett and saying, what are we gonna, I can't sit here with, I love you, but I can't, I gotta get out, I gotta do something. And then before you, and like to Chris's point, we were fortunate enough to, at that time, we were building a guest house for my mom who lives right out here. It had just completed, so she had moved in, and it couldn't have happened at a better time. And then all of a sudden, 2020, summer was crazy. It was busy. It kind of opened the door to people to say, okay, if we're going to stay in our houses, or we're going to stay here, we're going to work from home, we can do whatever we want, wherever we want. And that's kind of what happened. And we did it with building my mom's casita. We see it with our clients. So there's some bad things that happened, but to Chris's point, it opened our eyes and let us refocus on the important things. Not that real estate's not important, it's very important, but at the same time, we go so fast all the time, 24/7, that we miss things, and family is incredibly important. So we're very blessed.
The most important things bubble to the top. Yeah, for sure. Mike, how about you? Tough, difficult year. What did you learn? What are you thankful for?
Well, we started off with the coronavirus. I had a $10 million transaction that collapsed because when the market, I don't know if you remember when the stock market collapsed, I had a transaction that Morgan Stanley was funding, and they pulled all their funding and canceled. And so I immediately lost a $10 million transaction. So that was the beginning of the downturn. And when that happened, I have a lot of money invested in a development called Solitude. We were really concerned that we were going to, take it in the short, take it in a downside. But so it was a very reflective time. You had to regroup with your clients. Clients were really concerned with what was going to happen. And in the beginning, we thought everything was, we didn't know what we were going to do, what was going to happen to the marketplace. Lo and behold, the coronavirus ended up being the best thing that ever happened to the real estate market. People learned to work out of their homes, so housing became prime. People wanted to live in homes, were wanting bigger homes, and so it ended up being a blessing for us. So I've been through every kind of downturn known to man. I think the worst one I can remember that was even close to this was back in the Jimmy Carter era. Hopefully we're not going to go back there again. But I had to fight 22% interest rates. And so I fought through that and was very successful in that time, one of the most successful in my area, because I didn't let the change of the marketplace affect me. We kept fighting and kept working. So I guess in the beginning, we were just regrouping. When the downturn started with the coronavirus, I was just thinking about packing in listings because buyers were just kind of skittish at that time. And of course, everything changed come midsummer. Everything started moving back the other direction, especially up north in all the vacation homes like Flagstaff. Give you an example, I saw properties go from like 900,000 to 1.4 million in about a 5-month period, same properties. So crazy year. So.
Sure, we remember those cancellations from the title side. It was a little scary. You guys were taking it too. We were sitting there going, "Oh my goodness, everything's canceling. What's going to happen?" So scary times, but good times followed. So go ahead, Jen.
We had 2 waves of cancellation. We had everybody that freaked out at first and didn't know what was going to happen. They canceled. Then the second wave was when they couldn't qualify. They lost their job, something happened, and all of a sudden they couldn't. They wanted the house but couldn't. So Lisa, I'll start with you this time. So our business starts with lead generation. What's your primary source of lead gen?
My primary source is repeat and referral business. So it's my database, it's my clients, my past clients, referral partners. I've got a lot of connections with referral partners around the globe. And I would say, I mean, we do some social media to do that. I'm not, and I know that that's the way it's going, but it's hard for me to do that because I like to talk to people. I get, and some of you that are out there listening, and Chris and Mike, I don't know what your thoughts are on this. I don't use showing time, not because I don't believe in it. I think it's a great source, but I like to hear people's voices and I like to talk to them. And so for me to do social media or some kind of technology for that is just difficult, but I know it's necessary and I know that's the way of the future. So, but I would say my main lead generation is all repeat or referral.
All right, Mike, what about you? What's your main source of business?
Well, we do a lot of advertising. We're probably in 6 or 7 magazines, so we get lead generation from that. We get, we were working with Zillow, but then when they wanted to charge 35% to get a lead on my own listing, I said, that's it for you guys. So we do a little bit of realtor.com and do some circle prospecting and things like that. And, but the base of my business, really, I mean, a lot of that goes, when we get a lead for something, it goes to the team members. Almost, I would say 95% of my business, like Lisa said, is basically referral from past and present clients. So that's primarily how I do it.
All right, thanks, Mike. Once you know, my landscapers are here, so I keep going on mute. All right, Chris, what about you? What's your primary source of business for lead gen?
Just like my contemporaries here, I mean, yes, absolutely. Lead generations, there's a lot of buzz about that, but the best referrals, the best clients that I always get year after year are from our clients, referral clients. So repeat clients or a friend of a friend and moving in town. So absolutely, that's been one of the best ways to grow our business and continue to see it grows. Take good care of your clients that you have already, and it'll turn into more and more.
So let me hop on that question, since all of you, and I figured this to be the case, are repeat past clients. How do you specifically, what's your best way to stay in touch with your clients? And let's just go backwards. Chris, let's start with you. What is your primary way of staying in touch with them?
Sure. You know, I think that's what I love about real estate in general. There isn't one way to do it, and you can come up with your own way. So we've done a variety of different things, from client dinners to holiday events to treat one-on-one with a client and take them to a game or to dinner, doing gifts and just randomly showing up, or paying attention to their kids and reaching out to them if you see them in the paper or you see them just driving down the street. I mean, I talked to a client yesterday. I was just driving by their house and I said, "Hey, I'm just driving by. I thought of you guys." And they go, "Oh, you know what? One of our friends is gonna be moving in town. Can I connect you with them?" I was like, really? Like, would you have thought of me if I didn't call you? But we take it for granted, and we think that our clients should automatically call us because we're the best in the business, and we think we did a great job for them. But if you're not at the forefront of their mind and in front of them, and always kind of just, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, just being in front of them or just reaching out to them or giving them a call. I always like to try to be at the top of their minds and always checking in. And it doesn't have to be about real estate. Just calling and seeing how they're doing. I tend to not even bring up real estate, and then very naturally, I'm sure Mike and Lisa can attest, our clients have an issue. They cannot ask us about not ask us about real estate. They're always in, "Hey, what's the market doing? What do you think my home's worth today? Did you see this one sell for this number? Do you think we can get that?" So I never bring up real estate to my clients, and very naturally it always comes up. So that's what I do.
Mike, anything kind of specific that you do to stay in touch with those clients?
Primarily what you need to do with your client. I mean, the most powerful source of new business is your sphere of influence. And so I just think it's staying in touch and communicating and letting them know that you care. People don't care too much about you until you show them how much you care. And I think that's the primary primary things. So any way you can touch with them. Some people work better if you just give them a phone call, once a week or once a month even, or once even every month. Just stay in touch, and an email now and then, or a text message, depending on what is the best way to communicate on an individual basis with your clients. But staying in touch is where it's all about. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you're not squeaking, you're not going to get any grease.
Good point. Excellent. Lisa, anything different from your perspective?
I would tell you that I've been like this from day one. I like to be their resource. I don't care if it's for a doctor referral, a gas station, a grocery store that's nearby. I say that to them, to all of my clients when they're buying, especially when they're coming in from out of state. I always say, whatever you need, don't hesitate to reach out to me, call me, text me, whatever, email me. I may not get back to you right away, but I will get back to you. And I have found that 95% of my clients ask me for, hey, Lisa, I'm on Pima and Scotts, or Pima and Thompson Peak. Where's the closest gas station? Or whatever it is. And full disclosure, I'll say to them, this is who I go to, but that doesn't mean that they're great, but you give them a try. And be careful what you wish for, because, I'd say 25% of my text messages or phone calls a day are for that, which I love. Yeah. I love that. I love that they think of me because they know that I'm going to respond quickly and help them any way I can.
That's awesome.
Lisa, you're going to be my new 411.
What'd you say? I missed it. You cut out.
You're going to be my new 411. Hey, Lisa, what I get sandwich?
Instead of Siri, it's Lisa.
Yes. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so next question, Mike, we'll start with you this time. What one marketing strategy has been the most effective or ROI for you in the past 2 years?
What one marketing strategy? I guess it goes right. I guess the best marketing strategy is staying in touch with your clients. Most of my listings come from past clients, and they have a friend that wants to sell. They say, call Mike, he'll get it done. So again, it's back to working the people that you know. So I think if you're a restaurateur, and you own a restaurant, I think your best source of building your business is your clientele that comes in, that tell their friends that go down to Joe's and eat at his place. It's fabulous. So it's the same thing with us in our business. Real estate is not a real estate business. Real estate sales is a people business. So it's all about creating relationships. The more relationships you create, the more money you're going to make. So it's building relationships with people.
All right, thank you. Chris, how about you?
Not to repeat the same answer as Mike did, because I do believe that's an incredible source. And one thing to comment too, Mike, right? Like you said, face-to-face and personal relationships, right? The purpose of the phone is to make an appointment to get in front of that person, not to shoot them text after text after text. So I know a lot of our people are going that way, but that was always one of my big things, is always to get face-to-face with people. But I would say whatever you're doing, marketing strategy-wise, consistency, be consistent. If you're going to do social media, which doesn't really cost you anything, be consistent with that. If you're going to set open houses religiously, be consistent. I've stayed consistent over the last 2 years with everything that we're doing. We haven't pulled out or, and changed anything. So staying consistent, staying on top of it, sending out my market reports like clockwork, staying on top of our clients like clockwork, continuing with all of our ads and consistency has probably been the best strategy that has continued to grow our business and kept us in front of everyone.
Thanks. All right. And Lisa, what about you for the past 2 years? What's been most effective? Because you all seem to have the referral business as your number one source. Is there anything you do in particular to stay in front of them, or what's been most effective?
It's exactly what Chris and Mike said. I ditto. 100%. It's staying in front of your sphere. It's staying in front of your past and present clients. It's, not bringing up real estate, because they will bring it up to you. So you don't even have to. And but being prepared when they do, and knowing your market. And yeah, it's a 24/7. So you got to be prepared to do that.
And
I'd
I
like-
think picking up the phone is important.
Yeah, I'd like to add something that might be helpful, if that's all right.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake that I've seen, the biggest drawback in our industry in the last few years to me is agents are relying on text messaging, and I can't get agents to answer their phones ever. It's very frustrating. And I don't know if they're communicating with their clientele by text messaging, but it's like everybody's afraid to talk to somebody. And be quite honest with you, it's pretty hard to build a relationship with text messaging because you don't have any inflection of voice, you don't have any enthusiasm, there's nothing there. So I really would encourage people to, social media is fine and texting's fine for quick responses to things, but you need to answer your phone. I can't tell you how many times clients say you're the only agent I've ever had that really answers their phone. I answer my phone all the time, and I want to talk to agents. And like Lisa said, I do use showing time, but I want that personal communication. The reason I use showing time is when I get a showing time request, I got the agent's number there, and I call them up before I respond to their showing. I talk to them. I want to talk about the property. I want to feel them out and get it set up because I represent my clients and I want to build them up and build some enthusiasm for the property before they go out to see it. And I think all that's been lacking. So we're getting into an industry where everything is just too technical, and the sales part of it is going away, which is terrible. So I mean, I'm afraid that the industry is going to go to where agents are only going to get transaction fees because they don't bring any value to the proposition because they're never in touch. But the communications is what helps you get top dollar for your client. It helps to encourage a buyer to make a decision, which they never do without you. And so this thing with texting and not communicating, it's terrible. But it's very frustrating for me in communicating with other agents where they almost refuse to answer their phones. I mean, it's crazy.
So I would say interesting insight here of all of you, and we're talking about elite performers here, answered the phone. In a world where we've moved to technology, texting, and other things, the personal touch still wins. And so I think that's a huge takeaway if you're shying away from the phone in terms of talking on it. Maybe take note here. Let's talk market here for a second. Turn gears a little bit. We'll maybe come back to some of those things. I was just looking at Cromford here this morning. Average sale price in Scottsdale, all of Scottsdale, is now $947, and average in PV is 3.3 million. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you guys, but that has been going up hard to the right in the last several months. So dig into your crystal ball here, and I'll start with you, Chris. What do you see in the next 12 months in the luxury market?
Hey Siri, how's our real estate market going to be? No, I mean, I think, you know what, all the stars have aligned for Arizona. And this is something that we've been waiting for a long time. I know a lot of people have said Arizona real estate's been undervalued, and we're just catching up. And with everything shifting, without getting deep into the world and politics and all that fun stuff, there's a lot of good things changing for Arizona. We see people moving here for all different reasons. I think the misnomer that everyone's coming from California is completely incorrect. And we're seeing from all different areas of the US, and it's been great. So I'm predicting that we will have a strong summer. We'll have a strong run throughout the year. We'll continue throughout next year. And I think we definitely have a good 12, 18, maybe 24 months left. And we can only predict out so far, but I believe Arizona real estate is in a very good position as long as nothing major happens. You know, interest rates are staying low. Our inventory is down 2/3. I don't think we'll see a major increase except for in the construction world where And Mike, you can attest to this. And if you haven't been to his project, you guys got to check it out. It's one of the best projects out there in North Scottsdale. But you know, as long as all the inflation of goods and supply and the supply chain definitely keeps up, because right now that's been probably one of the biggest interesting topics I'm having with a lot of our construction and builder guys, where they just can't get materials. And our 12-month builds are now 16 or 18 or 2-year builds. So that's my only concern. But overall, I think Arizona's in a great spot, and we'll be continuing on for the next 12 months at least.
Yeah, we could do a 40-minute session just on new builds and the challenges that are happening there. And I know both you, Chris and Mike, represent some fantastic properties in your different markets. Lisa, how about you on the market? What do you see in the next 12 months?
I agree with Chris, and I think that it's interesting because all of us went through the 05-06 through 12, and so we experienced that, and it's a completely different climate, completely different market. In that lending, number one, the restrictions on lending are forcing the market to do the right thing, so to speak. And Arizona is no longer the best kept secret. People want to be here. We don't have, knock on wood, we don't have natural disasters like a lot of the other states that were considered destination states. You can all year long, every single day. It gets hot in the summer, but at least you can still go to the grocery store to worry about icy roads. You don't have to deal with all the other things that some of the other places are dealing with. And I agree with Chris. I think that our real estate was undervalued, and now people get it, and what you can buy here versus what you could buy in California or places in Illinois, or even the East Coast. We're seeing people from the East Coast come out. This is a deal. And on top of that, you get your weather, you get your golf, you get your hiking, you get your outdoor living, you get all of those things. So plus we're pretty close, with our international airport, and it's quick to go someplace if you wanted to when travel bans are lifted. But I think that this is the new, I wouldn't say it's the new norm, but it's definitely setting a stage for us. I don't think that it, and nobody has a crystal ball, but I don't foresee there being any type of real estate crash in Arizona. It's just lack of inventory, lack of building supplies, and people wanting to be here. The demand is incredible. It's amazing.
So you and Chris alluded to this. People from the East are coming here more. Spending most of my adult life in Pennsylvania, people tended to head down to Florida. But you're seeing more and more East Coast people coming here. Is that correct?
I'm seeing, I would say 50% of my out-of-state clients are California, and then another 25% Chicago, and then the remaining 25% East Coast. I mean, they're coming from New York. I have some people from Florida, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Ohio is a big one too. So yeah, I think that people are really starting, and it's because their friend comes and says, "Oh, you got to check out Arizona." And the next thing you know, it's just this domino effect, which is great for us. We're working 24/7 trying to find deals, trying to find property, but
it's a good place to be. I heard yesterday someone say that Scottsdale PV is the new Orange County, and I think it's becoming that. So, all right, next question. I see Chris. No. Next question, Mike, we'll start with you. This is a two-part question. How many offers are you seeing on properties over $1 million? And then what's most important to your sellers in choosing which offer they take?
Well, over $1 million, that's a big gap. So anything up to 2 million, you can realistically probably see three to four offers on anything from $1 million to 2 million. Once you get beyond the 2 million mark, then it starts dropping off. You'll get a lot of activity, but you're not going to get the multiples. Although I had a $2.2 million property that I had just put it in coming soon, and I had 3 offers in one day. So So as you move up in the price range, you're going to have less of the multiples because obviously there's fewer buyers at the $3 million level than there is at the $1 million level. So it's just a matter of mathematics. What is most important to our clients is a couple things. With these multiple offers, we're having people put multiple offers in, and some of them are not sincere, or they're just tying up the property, trying to lock something in. And quite frankly, it's probably some agents are probably getting 2 or 3 offers on 2 or 3 different properties at the same time, and then giving their clients 10 days to decide which one they want. So I think what's real important is it goes back to what I said, and Lisa, and I think Chris mentioned, this communications between agent and agent is really important, because I can get a sense if this buyer is really serious. So what's important to us is this something the buyer really wants? What's their passion for the house? And that's just as important as price, because it doesn't matter if somebody offers you a big number and 10 days later they flake out and back out of the deal because they went to a different house. So passion is real important for the house. So the communication between me and another agent is real important for me to feel that out. And then of course the terms, obviously cash is golden without a doubt. And quick close, we prefer quick close. And if we have to have a post-possession agreement or something like that to help the seller out, that's great. But quick close, all cash, and large earnest money. And one of the biggest problems I always have, the biggest things that I always have hated in the industry is somebody at real estate schools telling real estate agents that a 1% earnest money is a sufficient earnest money. And I've been since 1974, I always get 10% earnest money or better with my clients. In fact, I have a way of communicating it to a buyer. Some of them say, well, I can do 20%. So when you come in with an offer and you've got a $2 million home and you have a $200,000 earnest money, and I know my competitors have their $20,000 earnest money, when we're competing to get our client's offer accepted, that goes a long way. So I don't know why agents avoid it, because the earnest money is not at risk for the inspection period anyway. It shows sincerity, and it gives really a buyer a bargaining chip over other offers. So we look for good, strong earnest money, and we look for solid deals, quick close, et cetera.
And you've always been a proponent of large earnest money, which has helped you win a lot of contracts on that. So
I've had several contracts in the last 3 months where we were, let's say, in the $1 million range, where there's 5 or 6 contracts. In fact, there was 12 contracts, and we did not have the highest offer. But the seller said, I mean, we were probably $100,000 over the nearest earnest money, and the seller wanted to deal with us. So they gave us the opportunity to bring our price up to get the house. And we still didn't even have to go to the maximum price of the other offers, because we showed such sincerity for the house and came in so solid that the sellers wanted to work with us.
very nice. All right, Chris, what about you? How many offers are you seeing typically on properties $1 million and up, and then like $3 million and up? And then what's been most important for your sellers in choosing which offer they take?
Sure. Thanks, Jen. I think it really depends on the property. Depends on what's trending. If it's a property that's been totally renovated or brand new or built within the last couple of years, we're seeing a lot more activity. I mean, we've even seen it on the $3 to $5 million level, where we're getting 2-3 offers and over asking price, which is something very new to us. And so I think it really depends on the type of property that it is, or also with that tear down lot listing. I mean, if you have a lot listing, if you know somebody with a tear down, to everyone listening, call them in Paradise Valley or Arcadia or whatever, because it's an automatic sale for you and you'll get multiple offers. So we're definitely seeing those 2 areas get listings. And then that sub-$1 million mark, I know you didn't ask the question, but man, it'd be tough to be a first-time home buyer right now. And we're seeing, I heard one yesterday at another group that they had like 54 offers on a property that was like 800,000. And it's like, that blows my mind, but congrats. So, but I agree. I mean, everything, I kind of echo everything what Mike said, strong offers, strong earnest. Sincerity. There is a lot of agents definitely tying up properties, making ridiculous offers, and it's for us to bring our clients back down and make them realize that, it's a gamble if you're going to take this over asking price offer with a no-name agent and they texted you the offer and they never picked up the phone and called you. That drives me nuts. And so I agree. I mean, I think it's embarrassing when somebody sends me an offer and they say, hey, I sent you an offer and I don't know anything about the client, or, we met them just that one time at the showing and there's no sincerity. So that's how we put deals together. And so we always look for that. We also look at the agent and if we've done business with them or if they've communicated a lot with us to make sure that we understand their clients' direction and what they're trying to achieve here, because everyone's got a different story. Some people are going to buy it to live in it. Some people want to buy it to remodel it. Some people are buying second homes for a kid, whatever it is. So really understanding the full story and communicating that to that listing agent is definitely going to get you to the front of the line.
And definitely knowing the agent, I think, helps whether you have confidence and know that they can work together with you. You all have the same goal to get it closed. Sometimes
Absolutely. I always tell people, we got 20,000 plus real estate agents working for us for free. Like, why would you not communicate with them? They're the best asset to you. And I always answer my phone. I'm always happy to share information, share suppliers or subs and things like that, because those agents rely on me whenever they come to the area that I specialize in. And they, that's a good thing. And it gives my client a leg up for sure.
Very good. All right, Lisa, what about you? How many offers are you seeing on your properties and what's been most important to your sellers?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to ask Mike and Chris, where are these $2 million properties? I can't find them. Where are they? 2, 3 million? I mean, I was doing a search for some clients. I had to video myself the other night showing her, because she gave me her parameters and she said up to 2 million. There were 2 homes that came up, so I adjusted it and found 5. And she said, well, that's interesting because Zillow, there's 45. I said, yeah, well, Zillow, the A in Zillow stands for accuracy. So here, so I showed her, I videoed myself plugging it into MLS and showing what popped up. And she was like, wow. I mean, now no people can't believe it. So it's happening, but I don't have, I can't say that I have listings at that price point right now. But I have buyers at that price point. And I had one situation where I knew the people were going to be selling and my clients were moving back from California and they had 2 little ones. And I said to them, hey, before we put it on the market, can they just come look at it? They'll let you stay in it as long as you want until your house is rebuilt or until your new house is built and so on. And thank God we got that deal done. But I have a handful of clients that are in that, up to $1.5 million. And these people are getting cash offers that are, 25% over list price for tract homes. And it's like, I can't encourage my client who's a young family to waive an appraisal just to get this house. I mean, but it's happening. People are doing it. So we're writing letters to these sellers, and that's not even doing it. It's cash. Cash is king. Over list price. Who cares what the appraisal is? Just do it. Get it done. So I don't have anything for you. Sorry.
Well, I think the biggest thing too, just to echo off of that, communicate to your client too, because so many of these agents, we had somebody lose earnest money yesterday and it was really unfortunate, but he thought he could still cancel. And he had been through inspections, wrote a cash offer, but switched to financing, but it didn't appraise. So the guy didn't want to move forward. So, and the agent, lost that client, unfortunately, to another agent that's not representing him because he didn't communicate. So just make sure you communicate to your client, because I think there's so many people out there getting advice from their neighbor or best friend. And this is what Susie Sally did. And communicate what the pros and cons are, I think, of everything, and waiving inspections and waiving appraisals and all that fun stuff.
We have a bazillion more questions and we could easily spend way more time. We're going to start to kind of wrap this up because I told you we'd be about 45 minutes. Lisa, I love the A in Zillow stands for accuracy. That's a great line. I have not heard that.
True, right? I had and I learned that from another realtor a couple of years ago. She had referred me to somebody, and we were talking about the situation. And she said, "Well, Lisa," she said, "just tell my clients, which were my clients now, that the A in Zillow stands for accuracy." And I sat there for a second, because of course you have to spell it Zillow. And I'm like, you are so, and so I use it all the time.
Yeah.
When somebody, when the client says, well, Zillow says, well, Zillow, well, yeah.
That is a good one. I'm going to read one comment from Jay, because I think this sums up a few things. But it says, big thanks to the panelists for taking your time for your practice, best practices, and appreciation for your fellow agents. And I feel that, and I sense that your camaraderie, your willingness to work together and appreciate and respect one another. Maybe one last question, and then we're going to hit a lightning round really fast. But and I don't even know what the best question to ask at the end, and this might be a little bit of a downer, so we can pivot if we need to. But what do you think is the biggest risk, or the largest threat? Maybe is a better word. The largest threat to our industry.
To our industry?
Yeah, to our industry.
You probably won't want to hear this, but I think it's the National Association of Realtors. Giving Zillow, Realtor.com, and all these sites access to our MLS system. We're at a point where I believe that the real estate industry could quickly become Uberized, because they've taken our business away from. Actually, Zillow controls the market, not realtors. So the people who are doing the business, which is us, is now being handed off to Zillow. So the world doesn't believe that the marketplace doesn't believe they really need real estate agents anymore. And that's, for them not to defend that MLS system, to give it up like they did, is my opinion, the worst thing that's ever happened to our industry. And it's proving as time goes on, it's harder and harder and harder and harder for realtors to prove value to a client, because of, what do I need you for? I got Zillow. People can put a house on there. Now Zillow's competing with us. So we got the tail wagging the dog instead of the dog wagging the tail. So.
And to piggyback onto what Mike said. So I agree 100,000%. And on top of that, then you have these people, these cousins, aunts, dog walkers, babysitters, brothers, whoever, saying, hey, get your real estate license, because I'm going to buy a $3 million house, and I want you to represent me so that you can make the money. So then somebody goes and gets it just for that one transaction. If you're going to get into real estate, get into it for the right reason and be professional. There's so many people getting their real estate license right now simply because they think that the market's hot and they think that it's easy and it's a quick 3%. It's not any of that. You have to do it as a passion. You have to get into it, because all of us and a lot of the people that are watching, we're here for a reason, and we're grinding, and we're putting our grit in every single day to represent our clients. And if we do a good job, we represent our industry. If we don't represent our industry professionally, we're going to have things like that happen. So I think that's a huge, dangerous thing to be coupled with what Mike just said.
And I think that if the state really wanted to protect the consumer, that's what the Department of Real Estate's all about. They really don't. Really, they want us to collect as much fees as possible. They ought to quadruple or raise the fee to real estate agents, but require that you have to do 3 or 5 transactions a year to maintain a license. So that helps show that at least you're in the business and you're up to date with things. But it's crazy that like I said, I was at Dillard's and I bought a suit the other day, and they said, how do you want to pay for it? And I said, I'll write you a check. And they said, fine. And they said, I'm going to need to see your real estate license. I said, you need to see my real estate license? For what reason? He says, well, I need ID for the check. I said, don't you need to see my driver's license? He said, no, not everybody in the state of Arizona has a driver's license. Meaning they all have real estate licenses.
Yeah.
Like 80, 90,000 licensees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, what are your thoughts? And we could go down this trail for a while, which we won't, but Chris, just kind of what are your thoughts on the biggest threat that we're facing as an industry?
We could talk on this topic for hours, and I agree with Lisa and Mike. I mean, it's there's a lot of people in there, and I agree. agree with Mike as well. You know, they need to raise that. You know, I always came from the philosophy of special. I was going to become a doctor. I actually bailed on med school, and I wanted to specialize in something. Be a specialist in whatever you're going to do. Know every ins and out of that area, of that contract. There's so many agents out there that are out there, and I joked around and said sometimes this is like the C business or A business for C students, right? So, you know, be professional, be an expert. You know, don't cut your legs off. We're seeing so many people say, "Hey, well, you know, I got to go with my friend because you know they're listing my house for you know this flat fee or X percent," and it really just it kills the brand of real estate, and it kills what we've all been working so hard for. So be proud of what you do. Value your time, value what you are worth. There's a lot of time and energy that goes into it. And a lot goes beyond just the contract, you know, beyond that to get to the closing table. So, you know, just be professional and remember what you signed up for at the beginning and remember your ethics.
Good word, really good word. And for those of you that are newer on the call, you know, this is all affirming you and being professional, digging in, working hard, being the full-time agent and so forth. So I think you'll find all of these panelists championing you, that for those of you that are going after it, working hard and adding professionalism to the industry. We're going to do lightning round real quick. Jen, any final quick comments before we go lightning?
No, I just want to thank you guys all for taking time out of your very busy days. I was wondering if you guys all have pants on, because you know when you're on Zoom, you don't have to get dressed from here up. So
I'm not going to stand up.
Don't show us.
Yeah.
All right, ladies first. So Lisa, this is a lightning round, real quick. One, you know, a lot of you have seen the this or that Instagram, you know, kind of stories. This or that is big right now. So here we go. This or that. Lisa, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Modern or Mediterranean style?
Modern.
Text or call?
Call.
Avocado toast or bacon and eggs?
Bacon and eggs.
Morning or evening?
Morning.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
All right, Mike, you're up now. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, tea, iced tea.
Gas powered or electric?
Powered.
Zip forms or transaction desk? It's like neither.
I don't like either one of them. So I'll just say zip forms.
Okay. Control freak or delegator?
Control freak.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Real book or Audible?
Audible.
Phoenix
Well,
Open,
okay. Go ahead.
Phoenix Open or Barrett Jackson?
Phoenix Open.
Nice.
All right, Chris, you're last. We're going to finish it up here. Mac or
I wanted
PC?
Mike to say fax machine. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
You probably have a fax number, don't you still?
Yeah, I think I do.
Mike, one of the questions we were going to ask, we don't have time for, is, you know, when are you going to retire and what's the exit plan?
I'm going to take 2 weeks off, then I'm going to quit.
Chris, here we go. Mac or PC?
Mac,
Dominic's or Maple and Ash?
Maple and Ash,
Suns or Cardinals?
Sons,
Scottsdale or PV?
PV,
480 or 602?
602,
620?
620. What's 620?
602, right?
602.
Jen or Troy? Jen or Troy?
Huh?
What?
I can't hear you.
Come on now. Jen Troy.
Troy.
Right, Jen.
Chris, Lisa, Mike, thank you. Your
Thank
time
you,
is very
guys.
valuable. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Great seeing
guys
everyone.
you guys are consummate professionals and just appreciate what you bring to the industry.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Good
All right,
out.
everybody. Join us on Luxury Agent Scottsdale PV and we'll see you soon.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.